At the end of the day, they were a group that were basically targeting white young girls. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Renashe and I like to talk, so let's talk. Before I get into this interview, I don't know who may see this, I don't know who may not see this, but if you disagree with anything I say beyond this point, feel free to comment down and feel free to join into the conversation. My opinions are not always right, it's just my opinions, and if you agree with me, you can comment that. If you don't agree with me, you can also comment that. We live in a free country. Is any of this really that serious? So let's get right into the video. Now, I would like to say I was not a directioner at all. I was literally a Bieber through the 2010 through like 2014 2015 era, right after Purpose Tour. That's when I think that's when I stopped kind of a little bit, and yeah, that's kind of when like my liking for Justin Bieber went down. So no, I was not a One Directioner. I didn't even have the option to be a Directioner because I was so focused on Justin Bieber. Like, because Justin Bieber and One Direction, they were like on the rise at the same time. I don't even think my 12-year-old 11-year-old self could have the mental capacity to like Justin Bieber and also One Direction. It wasn't no like, Justin Bieber's better. It was just like I just didn't have the mental capacity to like them as well. But I made this video because I have a new interest: Harry MFN Styles. Let's just be honest, that man is hard. And I collected my interest with him these past couple of weeks or whatever like that, and then I asked myself, I was like, why wasn't I a One Direction stan? Being I was interested in Harry Styles, I was like, let me look into some One Direction content. So then I started looking at their interviews, I started looking at their music videos, and then their little crack videos that their fans have, and I came to the conclusion of why I didn't really stand them. Like, yes, it is because I also didn't have time, but I'm glad I didn't have time because I don't even think I could really get into One Direction if I really wanted to. So I say that to say this: I think their music was just a little bit too white for me. I know, we're shade. They are from the mountains of Caucasus. I know what you're saying. I know they're Caucasian. I know this. But I think for me personally, and this is just personally my opinion, I think the reason why I was so like attached to Justin Bieber, because I love R&B and I love pop music too, but I like to have my mixture of like everything. I don't like to have like a lot of the same thing. I like to switch it up. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with switching it up. So I think when I listen to Justin Bieber, his entire like career is based off of like R&B and like black music, even now more than ever. Now, I'm not saying Justin Bieber is the symbol of inclusivity by any means, but he's the only fandom I've been in besides BTS. So that was my only way of explaining to you what I'm trying to explain to you, by using him as an example. I know he's been racist, I know he said the N-word. I just use him as an example of why it was easy for me to be a fandom of him than it was for me to be a fan of One Direction, even though One Direction was already broken up by the time I knew about them. Anyway, back to the video. All right, bye. But it definitely began when he was younger. Like, every time you see Justin Bieber, you saw Usher, and majority of his featured artists were all black or people of color. So it was like, it was very easy for me to migrate into the Bieber Fever fandom. You know what I mean? I was feeling it. You know what I mean? But I don't think One Direction really made, they only made pop, a little bit of rock here and there, and it's like it didn't really speak to me. And there's nothing wrong with that, like, you know what I mean, to each his own. But I see a lot of black Directioners popping out, whatever like that, and I just wanted to know, like, was it too white for y'all? You know what I mean? Like, somebody put on Twitter too, like, I love how all the black Directioners are coming out of hiding after Harry dropped his recent album. I see a lot of these videos talking about how felt they being black in a fandom, and specifically One Direction, because there was a lot of racism going on with that. But being that One Direction was like a pop and rock based group, yes, there are black people in rock, but it's really mainly targeted to the Caucasian society, to the Caucasian community. It was very hard for people of color, specifically black girls, to like migrate and get jiggy with One Direction, and if they did, they felt odd because there was a lot of racism within that fandom, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to compare fandoms, and I'm not trying to compare artists, because 6 different types of people from 2 sets of countries or whatever like that. And so no, I don't want to compare, but I do want to be honest and say like when you're standing a white person, regardless of who they are and where they're from, it can be very difficult if their music is not speaking to you, or if you don't see yourself. And it's like everything about like a lot of these artists nowadays that I notice is all about being inclusive. Like, you know what I mean? If you feel like ostracized, not ostracized, trend nowadays with some of these celebrities, it's just all about being inclusive, and they try to be inclusive with all of their fans, and like regardless of your race or gender or your ethnicity or your religion, you know, you are welcomed in this space. And it's like a lot of people didn't really do that before. A lot of people just made music and released it whoever released it to, but like it's all about feeling seen, and it's all about feeling included. And that's why a lot of these celebrities are on this fake woke situation. I like to give celebrities a bit of the doubt. Maybe they genuinely do care about some of these world issues like racism, like Black Lives Matter, like what's going on in Palestine and Israel, and the LGBTQ community. I hope that these celebrities really care about these things, but a lot of times, I was going to say this but then I got cut off. Most of the time, certain celebrities, they only care about situations so they won't look bad or whatever like that. If it's not affecting their pockets, they genuinely don't care. You just have to be mindful of that. And a lot of people like to pretend to be fake woke because that's the trend nowadays. They like to blame it on cancel culture that's basically created by Gen Z. But reality is just about taking responsibility, using your platform for what's right. I'm gonna get back to One Direction in a minute, but I just want to make things clear right here. These celebrities, some of them, not all of them, they don't really care. They're just using it to get clout and to look good and to boost their brand so they won't get canceled. So yeah, back to the video. Back to what I was saying about One Direction. I just feel like their demographic, it didn't really reach a broader audience but solely just white teenage girls. I don't want to compare fandoms, and I don't want to compare artists. I know I said I was going to compare artists or fandoms, but I kept on bringing up other artists and fandoms. But those artists are the only 2 artists I've been fans of. If I was a fan of like Justin Timberlake or like other artists or something like that, or like Ludacris, I would have brought up Ludacris fandom. But I'm not trying to compare him. I'm just trying to give an example. I know they're 2 different groups, 2 different fandoms, and 2 different types of music. Maybe I'm just trying to give an example, and I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to explain to you without giving an example, if that makes sense. Just hear me out what I'm trying to say, y'all. I'm not trying to bash anybody, just hear me out. But like if you think about like BTS, right, they dibble and dabble in literally every single type of genre to reach every single type of people. Like you have RM, J-Hope, and Suga, which is like the rap line. They do hip-hop, which can reach to different type of people who may not even sis. When they rap, they reach to a bigger audience. Like, I don't know, maybe some people of color or black people like me who really like hip-hop, who really like R&B. They have different types of people who target different types of music, or who just have different flavors, but they also stick to this pop thing that's kind of popular. Obviously they also cater to different other types of genre, which I think is smart, especially if they're trying to reach a global audience. We're just gonna leave it like that. The fact that like One Direction kind of stick with the pop and rock sound didn't really cater to a lot of different people, but it also is like, do I expect Jay-Z to rap a country song? No, of course. But Jay-Z did do an album with Linkin Park, so there really was no excuse. They can't cater to everybody. They cater to what they like or what they listen to. So of course I wasn't expecting them to do that. This is just a little bit of a frustration of someone who is black within who likes a white artist or a white group. But that may have been a problem for me personally, why I couldn't really connect with them as much as I wanted to. But being that they broke up, or whatever the case, broke up or took a hiatus, whatever the case may be, as soon as they left, like Zayn Malik released Pillow Talk. Honey, Pillow Talk would have not been something that would have been part of their album. Let's be very clear. If he was still in that group and they were still a thing right now, he would have not been able to make Pillow Talk. Let's keep it a band. Zayn always talks about how he always had this R&B flair, and every time he was saying anything the slightest bit of R&B, they would scratch it. And I'm like, what? No, this is how you draw people in. This is how you get a new targeted audience. Honey, what? It didn't make sense to me. But yeah, I wanted to end it off like this. If I'm missing something, I will add it into like that. But at the end of the day, they were a group that were basically targeting white young girls, and there's nothing wrong with that. There really isn't. But as time progresses, you know, people wanted more. I'm pretty sure if they would have continued on, there probably would have been still been a big group. Things happen for a reason. I think their solo music is so good now. The reason why I love Zayn so much is like, you would have never be able to see that side of him had he not had left, and there would have been no Pillow Talk. And I'm gonna keep coming back to it. Pillow Talk would not have been made if he wouldn't have left. And let's talk about it. But I also want to touch on how like Zayn is not F with them at all. Like, he minds his business. He play with his daughter, he be with his wife, and he goes on about his business. But before I get deep in that, because you know I could go all day about Zayn, I'm just going to end it here. Like I said before, if you guys disagree with anything I said in this video, comment what you guys think. Like, I am open to all type of discussions. I'm very open-minded. I do not care, because it's really not that serious, because they're already disbanded and they're already gone. So yeah, but I hope you guys like this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.